Hey, to those telling me to stop laughing, please go get yourself what will actually bring joy into your heart. Because it's not all videos that I laugh, but if I see videos that I am supposed to laugh, you can't come kill my joy. You can't come stop my flow. Just like this video that you guys are about to watch. It's terrible. What is that? How did their emails leaked? How did their messages got to the public? I thought they were in charge of the I thought they were in charge of security, cyber security, and every other stuff. It's kind of alarming that if my messages as a normal person got leaked outside, theirs is also getting leaked. I'm surprised. But, anyways, I am also not surprised because when God wants to actually pull out some certain things, He will just do it openly for every other person to see. So, there's this say that I said 99 days for the thief and 1 day for the owner. But, anyways, let's get right into this video. My name is Sonia. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. There are some email messages that actually flied about Epstein files, blah blah blah. If you have seen those videos, let me know. But if you haven't, let's watch. And credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our episode. Let's get right into this. I can't wait.
Would you like to see photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? From Jeffrey Epstein, December 2015. I know how dirty Donald is. Sent from Jeffrey Epstein, August 2018. Of course he knew about the girls. January 2019, also from Jeffrey Epstein. Redacted victim's name, spent hours at my house with him. About Donald Trump, from Jeffrey Epstein, sent in 2011. Now, why would Donald Trump be spending hours with a sex trafficking victim at Jeffrey Epstein's house? Innocent people don't immediately go into emergency meetings trying to flip members of their own party to not release more information. If it was all a hoax, wouldn't the rest of the files exonerate Donald Trump? And we can't forget, do you remember who was president when Jeffrey Epstein died in prison? It was Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein calling your president, not my president, calling your president the dog that hasn't barked is not a good look. Now, anyone with two brain cells to rub together has known exactly why Donald Trump is in these files. And covering it up, pushing for them not to release the files, as Trump is doing, is probably the second worst political choice you could make. Because the first is if the files come out and just how bad they are.
What do you mean Epstein wrote in an email that Trump knew what he was doing the entire time and hung out at a house with one of his victims for hours on end? What do you mean that email has been in the possession of both the DOJ and a reporter and Congress this entire time and was only released this morning? What do you mean by that? Why now? Where has this been the whole time? The email is from 2011. 2011. 2011 was, let me do math here, 14 years. The email is old enough to be a victim. Why is it taking so long for this email to be shown to the world?
So in this email, you have Jeffrey Epstein asking his brother Mark if Putin still has the photos of Donald Trump blowing Bubba. Now, Bubba is Bill Clinton because that's one of his nicknames. And Donald Trump, we're just going to start calling him Deep Throat. But one of other Clinton's nickname was Slick Willie. So now we have Deep Throat all
experience on this horrific timeline. Donald Trump giving Bill Clinton the Gawk Gawk 3000 allegedly was not on my radar.
How you doing?
I know that all these emails have been released from the Jeffrey Epstein estate, which has revealed a lot of things. One email in particular said, ask him if Putin has photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Bubba referring to our former president, Bill Clinton.
Okay, well, this was really fun.
I mean, to be fair, Donald Trump's favorite dance is jerking off ghosts in public and playing the YMCA, which is America's gay theme song. So the two that are absolute dicks to each other in public can be tugging on each other's dicks in private.
Wow.
This just tells us America in this current timeline is the worst telenovela. It's not even a telenovela anymore. We've surpassed that. We are now in a Tubi film. What do you mean? What the fuck was going on at Jeffrey Epstein's house, island, plane, estate? What was going on? And honestly, I don't care who's in these files. Based on these little tidbits and breadcrumbs we're getting from these emails, I would literally like all the files to release. I don't care if every Democrat's on it. I don't care if everyone I've ever looked up to is on it. I don't care if Obama's on it. Release the Epstein files because we need to see what the fuck has been going on with these weirdos. You guys are public foes, but you're bro job bros. Peace out. Peace out, America. This is crazy.
I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10.
That was Megyn Kelly, former Fox host. And she knows she's lying. She knows exactly what Jeffrey Epstein did and is making an immoral distinction that should never be made. Megyn is MAGA, and MAGA, almost all of MAGA, knows what Jeffrey Epstein did. And most of MAGA knows that, like you and me know, that Donald Trump is guilty of something with Jeffrey Epstein. And I want to talk about the excuses they've been making. Why do I say that most of MAGA knows that Trump is guilty? Because if you look at polls, MAGA is wildly enthusiastic about just about everything Trump is doing, except for one thing: how he's handling the Epstein files. Approval for how Donald Trump is handling these files is low across the board. Democrats in the center, independents on the right, but it's even low for Republicans, 45% approval, and another 30% say, they say, I don't know enough about it to form an opinion. Yeah, see no evil, hear no evil. So it's not surprising to me that on social media, I'm not getting many denials sent to me. Instead, I'm getting excuses like, oh, it was so long ago and he's not doing that anymore. But the most common excuse that I'm getting sent to me that's disturbing, not as disturbing as what Megyn Kelly has to say, but still disturbing, is this one. It's the everyone does it, be careful what you wish for excuse. Everybody does it, including your guys. And if you open up this can of worms, your guys are going to get nailed too. I don't get this argument. It's wholly immoral. If one or several of my guys, Democrats, gets nailed because of this, yippee, I want them to be nailed. This is not a sporting match where I root for my team no matter what, or a power battle where power can be obtained or should be obtained by any means necessary. It's a matter of America and what's right and wrong. What Jeffrey Epstein did, what Donald Trump did, what anyone associated with them did is wrong. And you and I both know they all need to go down.
I think that they played together. You know who. The two of them. Our president could be a rapist, a murderer, a child sex predator, extortionist, a war criminal, a traitor. But the one thing they can't abide their Republican president being is a little bit gay. Well. I hate to say I told y'all so, but I told you so. I have to admit, after I posted that video yesterday morning, after a few hours and after it went viral, I started getting a little self-conscious. Maybe I'm starting to sound a little bit too much like a theorist. You know what I mean? But now, no, not so much. When you are dealing with some of the shadiest motherfuckers in history, you are entitled to think in a way that is conspiratorial because they force you into that mindset. And now here we are. Whatever wild, horrible things you can think of that these men have done, expand your horizons, because this isn't even the bad part. This is just the part that proves that they definitely have things in that file that they don't want the rest of the world knowing. And this is just one of the pieces of the puzzle. Those of you that haven't figured this out yet, Bubba is apparently Bill Clinton. Just as a gentle reminder, please don't bring Monica Lewinsky into this. Don't joke about her. Don't, just leave her out of it. Leave her out of it. She has suffered enough. So that's all I got to say about that.
I'm not trying to scare anyone, genuinely, but do not be surprised if when these Epstein files come out, there's necrophilia. Do not be surprised when these Epstein files come out that there will be necrophilia involved. I can almost guarantee it, because there's no possible way that anyone that is not engaged with the child sex ring or whatever that's going on, because a lot of these people that are defending him truly are not. A lot of them are involved, but a lot of them are not. But there's no reason that you're defending a pedophile for just being a pedophile. Like, there's some deep, deep, deep dark shit in those files that the people who are implicated in them completely and wholly, more so than just your run-of-the-mill, I guess, kitty diddling or what the fuck ever. There's some dark shit in there that those people will go to any length to cover up. And I would be shocked if that was the worst of it. So don't be surprised when it comes out that they were fucking dead people, dead kids maybe.
Epstein isn't going to bring down Trump. It isn't. And look, I'd love to be wrong on this, and if I am, I'll happily stitch this video, but I don't think I am. Trump's platform has never been a moral one. They pay lip service to it with talks of God and family values, but the core of who he is and the reason why people vote for him isn't because he's a moral, upstanding man, right? He doesn't pay his workers, and he's literally like a proven rapist. And there are a lot of facts about him that immediately contradict the idea that he is a moral man. And look, this week, the moral platform that he stands on was tested by the baby formula lady, right? Who phoned a number of churches, the sorts of churches that support him, to ask for help for a starving 2-month-old baby, and was told no. And what's happened? The pastors have doubled down. Trump isn't a moral man, and the people who support him aren't either. And I worry that too many hopes have been pinned on the idea that, the curtain will fall, everyone will realise the truth of him being a serial, and they'll suddenly realise they shouldn't have supported him all along. And I think that's wholly unrealistic. It may well be that the legal consequences are sufficient to maybe not bring him down, but slow him down. And the judiciary in the US has been working really hard to be the checks and balances that it should be, and in some areas are succeeding in snarling things up sufficiently to slow the regime down. I don't think we can hope that they'd stop him, but given how he's got the Supreme Court in his pocket, but I think they could slow him down sufficiently to get to midterms, to actually have a democratic route out of this. So there is perhaps a glimmer of hope, but I genuinely do not believe that it's the solution that everybody's hoping it is. And again, if I'm wrong, I'll be fucking joyful about that, all right?
He's a bottom. It makes sense. It literally makes sense. He's real fluffy. Was everybody having nightcaps with Bubba? I mean, goddamn. Hillary, I know why you pissed off, girl. I would have stepped out on him too, because not him frenemies and goddamn it, I can't even fucking think straight. Hold on. You mean to tell me y'all was frenemies? Y'all was frenemies? No, because, okay, I get it. Bill was definitely a top. Bill was definitely the top in that situation. But wigs are us, baby. You give it sloppy toppy. Oh my God. Jeffrey, you just keep dropping W's from the grave. And why does everybody have Bill's third leg in name? I need to know the time frame of this shit. Was the same time as Monica, or was it after? What else was going on these planes? Wait, Bill wasn't on the plane. Where was this at? And somebody said there were photos. You don't have to send them to me because I don't want none of that stuff. But, if you decide you want to post them somewhere, just let me know where you post them.
He was president when Jeffrey was unalived. He was president when Jeffrey was unalived. Kankles didn't just know about Jeffrey's conduct. They had Thanksgiving together in 2017 during his first term as president. Jeffrey said that he could take him down with all of the stories that he could tell. The party of Pizzagate and Drain the Swamp and the deep state truthers are the ones who are now covering up for PDF files and for a Pizzagate level scandal. They are the swamp. They are the deep state. They are the ones covering up a Pizzagate. And it's an international cover-up. That means it's the biggest conspiracy and cover-up in the world because there's a prince involved as well. Kankles hung out with Virginia Giuffre for hours at a time. And his MAGA base is angry. They keep threatening Lauren Boebert to change her vote, and they shut down the entire government so that we would not talk about this.
There is some good news today. That Mike Johnson is finally going to have to swear in his worst nightmare in the form of Adelita Grijalva, who will be the 218th vote to release the Epstein files. And out of that 218, 6 of those votes come from Republicans. And allegedly today, Trump is working overtime to threaten them and tell them to remove their names from the discharge petition, including Lauren Boebert, who allegedly he called personally and has now been summoned to the White House today to be convinced to remove her name, which she says she will not do. Gee, why do you think they don't want those files released? Could it have anything to do with this story that dropped today? Epstein alleged in emails that Trump knew of his conduct? Could that be part of it? House Democrats on Wednesday released emails in which Jeffrey Epstein wrote that President Trump had, quote, spent hours at my house, unquote, and Mr. Trump knew about the girls. I believe this is the actual quote. Of course he knew about the girls. Of course he did. Of course he fucking did. He's sweating today, and he should be, along with a bunch of other people who are in those files who have been protected thus far. Release the Epstein files.
The Epstein files are worse than apparently a lot of people thought, and now the rats are fleeing the ship. Reports are from David Schuster that over 100 Republicans are going to join the Democrats to release the Epstein files because they have just been briefed by the DOJ, and we all knew the Epstein files were going to be damning, but this apparently is next level and is waking people up. They have tried to protect these PDFs for way too long. And now, only when it looks like the tides are going to turn and things are going to inevitably come out, they are fleeing the ship. And do not let these 100 plus Republicans off the hook. If they are one of your congressmen or women, you need to ratchet up the public shame on these people because they are not doing this because it's the right thing. They are not doing this to protect and help the victims. They are not doing this to seek justice. They are doing this to save their own political career and hide. They realize that Donald Trump is a losing bet, a lame duck president who just got blown out. In every single election, the Republicans have a losing bid right now, and they know that this is going to cost them the election if they go down with Donald Trump. I don't know how much more damage it could be. I've seen some of the rumors and the reports from this journalist about additional images, but apparently it is so much worse than any of those knuckleheads thought, and they are finally turning around.
They're going to this video in the algorithm because they don't want information like this getting out there. So please, if you can, repost, comment, like anything you can. There is currently reporting coming out from Republicans in the House of Representatives that they've been in talks with the Department of Justice, with the FBI about the Epstein files. And it's been revealed that what is actually in the Epstein files is so much more incriminating for Donald Trump than anybody has been revealed so far. The public has already been made aware for a long time by the reporting from Michael Wolff that supposedly there are pictures incriminating Donald Trump, such as him with topless young girls sitting in his lap while they're like laughing at a stain on his pants and stuff. But it's being reported right now to House representatives in the Republican Party that it is in fact so much worse than just that, and they know this, and that is the number one reason why the government is still shut down. Democrats elected Adelita Grijalva, a congresswoman from Arizona, and she has not been sworn into Congress for 40 days or so since she got elected, because she would be the 218th vote needed to release the Epstein files. They will do anything they can to protect not only Donald Trump, but any other PDF files that are incredibly rich, powerful, influential men who may be in those files. Everyone needs to understand this is why the government is still shut down and why they will do anything to keep it shut down for as long as possible, no matter how many Americans it hurts. We've got to do anything we can to get this information out there because they're going to do everything they can to shut this info down. They don't want us educated on what's actually going on. We've got to do everything we can to make people aware because nothing is more important than this in America right now.
Never thought we'd see anything like this. This is the portion of the reveal that I didn't expect to see or hear about, and I certainly didn't want to think about. And it kind of adds up when you think about it. They're disgusting people. Both of them are just absolutely disgusting, power-craven jerks who took advantage of women, and the truth is all starting to come out. Oh yeah, the chickens are coming to roost, and anybody who has, hid this stuff from the public for all these years, anybody who's protected them is implicit and shall inherit the wind.
If you're hoping that Trump supporters kind of like turn on Trump with these Epstein releases, I have a bridge to sell you. It'll probably be within, a week, 2, maybe, that they will completely turn around, right, and start defending Trump regardless. They've already staked too much of their own personal identity on being a Trump supporter, on being MAGA, and the communities that were derived from being MAGA. Not to mention that right-wing media is a closed circuit. They need one functioning conspiracy theory for this all to go away in a week or 2. But this isn't surprising with our politics, right? We have 2 parties. There's only 2 parties. You only get to pick 2 parties. And people who are liberals just do the exact same thing. Now to a lesser degree, but very much with a similar mental leap. Everybody was pissed that Democrats ended the shutdown until there was this super secret plan that maybe Democrats are working that we just don't understand, that us plebes don't quite get. And that's working amongst the most down bad Democratic supporters. Why wouldn't it work on the right?
Hey, so did anyone else notice that since those bombshell emails came out showing that Trump knew that Epstein was an abuser and that he himself spent hours alone with a victim, the administration has given up denying that he's in the Epstein files? After months of saying he had no idea, he wasn't involved, he stopped being friends with Jeffrey Epstein as soon as Epstein was convicted, now that these emails are out, they're not saying they're fake, they're not saying it's fake news, they're not saying that the Democrats came up with it or that it's AI, they're saying that the Democrats cherry-picked those emails to suit their narrative. Let's just start there. Is there any context that would make those emails okay? That you knew that your buddy was a sex trafficker and that you were spending hours alone in the room with a minor girl? But even if we set aside their half-baked defense, my real question is, why isn't this the only thing the media is talking about? Why aren't we seeking accountability for the fact that the President of the United States lied publicly and blatantly for months? This should be getting covered like Watergate, but because everyone has become so accustomed to him lying, it's an afterthought, even when that lie is about the trafficking of minors.
Baby, if Donald Trump's name is in the emails, then he's obviously on the list. Let's be clear. And if his name was on the list, they would have been released a long darn time ago. Y'all not gonna like me for this. Y'all gonna hate me. And y'all can go ahead and start calling me every name in the book in the comments as of right now, but I am not believing it. Every single time that man gets one up or get a victory over the Democrats, we hear this same old song, which is the Epstein's files. At what point are y'all gonna release them? At what point are y'all gonna start giving these victims justice and start holding people accountable? That's where I'm at with it. Now, before I go any further, let me be very clear and say this. If Donald Trump is at all guilty for anything that these people have been saying for the longest time that he have done, then he needs to burn in hell 100 times over. Let me be clear and say that, because I'm not taking up for him. But I'm tired of hearing the same old Epstein song over and over again when there's real shit that's going on in America right now. At the end of the day, like I said before, if y'all not going to release them files, then let this shit go. Let this shit go. Because right now, y'all really just playing on our emotions. And there's a lot of energy harvesting that's going on. And I'm over it.
You're telling me that Trump blew in Bill Clinton's saxophone? You're telling me there's actual real-life emails that were dumped that says Trump gave the Gluck Gluck 3000 to Bill Clinton. Shouldn't have done that with my cheek, damn. I have never not wanted to see proof of that. I've never more been like, maybe that should only touch the eyes of people who need to do the prosecution, because I would rather light my eyeballs on fire with acid and glass than see that. That is that's my new 9/11.
Anyways, this is all I have for you guys. And let's talk. Forget about this here, right? So let's talk. I said it in the beginning of this video that 99 days for the thief, 1 day for the owner. Despite the fact that a lot of people are like, why will it be now since 2011? Why are they just releasing it now? Why are they just releasing the emails now? And you want them to believe blah, 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 is wet, not a south. A lot do not believe, but let me know what you think in the comment section. Because one thing I know about this people, especially these politician people, is there is literally nothing they cannot do to protect their image out there. Yeah, there's literally nothing they cannot do. And I so much believe in the Epstein file. I don't know why. Somehow, I feel like I'm not concluding, right? Allegedly, I'm not concluding that, yeah, the orange man is involved with it. But with the scenarios of how every single thing is playing, I can say that I believe that the orange man is allegedly involved. I don't know, probably in one way or the other. But if he says he is not, I think with time, even not now, we are going to see, and a lot of evidence and proof will actually surface for us to be able to know exactly what is really the main game or what is really the end game of every single thing. That is one thing that I believe in. You understand? And if finally, as a lot of people are speculating that yes, this man really had or got something to do with this Epstein file, then we are still going to make sure that that time we know what to do. You understand? But it is quite hilarious that these emails are been there for since 2011, right? And one thing for sure I know about my black folks is they don't lie. They don't just say things because they want to say things. They say things exactly how it is. That is one thing I know about my black folks, right? And I feel like God is going to use this particular thing to expose a whole lot. Recall that earlier 2 months ago, am I right? I think I did that particular video. Not I think 2 months ago, where we have some messages leaked on what these people literally see black folks like in their cubes, or what will I even call it? What they literally see black folks as. And now we're seeing these particular emails being leaked. A lot is still going to be unfolded. I don't just want to say so much in this video, even in as much as possible that I have a lot of things in my heart. to pull out. But I don't just want to say a whole lot. Because I don't want anybody to come and give me some defamation notifications, right? But once that thing unfold, then every single one of us, we know exactly what to do. But my prayer is, I pray for this thing to be exposed as quick as possible. It's not when these people have enjoyed, probably some of them have, do you get? And they will not be saying, oh, it happens, that I will be crying, it's too late. We don't want to be crying, it's too late. Like, we want them to actually face justice now that they are still very much active. That is one thing I love. That is what is being called justice being served. Okay. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section with people's speculations. Do you think that the orange man actually have anything linked with the Epstein files? I want to know. And if you think yes, just let us know why you think that in the comment section. Because the orange man that I know, if he has nothing to do with this thing, let's assume that probably it's Obama that has a lot of things to do with this Epstein file. This man will have went beyond every single limit to release these files. I don't just know why he's still holding them back. I don't know why they have not been released fully. I don't know why, even when one of the ladies came to speak out, a lot of people were like, she was paid. She was paid to speak out. She was paid to confess. Fingers crossed, we are still going to be here and see every single thing that will happen, right? But anyway, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. And yeah, I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you supporting, liking, commenting, and sharing. God super duper bless you. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.